Why do we paint? Why do we want to learn painting? Well, there are many possible reasons why someone wants to start painting. We want to do something relaxing, something challenging, something creative, or whatever is the spark that pushes us buying our equipment and start painting colors on a canvas. But normally, this is exactly what it is, just a spark. Once we start, unless we can find a real reason why we want to do it, a target, well, there is a high chance that our equipment ends in that place where we put all the things that were funny for a while until they weren't anymore. So we have to find a real reason why we want to do it. Because if we can't even find a single reason why we should really start doing it, well, probably it's better if we go to do something else. In this video, we want to try help you setting that target. But most of all, we want to help you find a self-evaluation method as objective as possible that will allow you to make sure that you're moving towards to that target. Or at least that will help you find out what you have to do to bring back your compass in its direction. Because an objective self-evaluation of our work is a very important part of our improvement process. In the last video, we have seen which are the parameters involved. Well, in this video, we're going to use them. So, if you haven't seen it yet, it's probably a good idea if you watch it before you go on here. To start, the very first thing that we have to do before we decide what we want to paint is to find out the reason why we want to do it. What is the benefit that as artist I want to get out of the artworks that I create? For example, it could be I want to earn money. I want to decorate my house. I want to make my own presents for my dears. I want to try to impress the love of my life. Or whatever your personal reason is. Normally, the reason isn't just one, so probably it's a good idea if we take a piece of paper and we write down a list ordered by priority. This list is very important because we're going to use it every time we have to decide what we want to paint. Our priorities in life can change, so this list doesn't have to be forever, but we must have a clear idea all the times on what we want to get out of the artworks that we make. Money, satisfaction, appreciation, love. Otherwise, we end painting always the same apple, just because. And after some time, everything ends in that famous place. And we have to be honest with ourselves writing this list because no good comes if we aren't. Once we have this list, we can finally start working on our target. Let's say that, for example, in our list we want to earn money first, and second, we want to paint something that we like. In this case, we should start doing some research to find out what kind of customer we could target, and eventually what do they like. What do they consider to be a benefit in a painting? Then probably we want to check within these things what we like to paint. On the other side, if on our list first we want to do something that we like, and then we want to try selling our works, probably we want to proceed the opposite way. First we want to find out what we like, then what kind of customer likes what we do. Let's say that in my list I want to try to impress my partner first, and second I want to paint something that looks good in our house. The first thing that I have to do is to find out what my partner likes. And then, within the things that he or she likes, what could look good in our apartment. It's important to remember that in this phase we just want to find a target. So it doesn't have to be something easy that we could paint right now. It must be something that keeps us motivated. For example, we want to represent a scene that we shot, a portrait of a person important to us, or anything else that we strongly wish to paint. We have to keep in mind that no matter what kind of benefit the picture creates and for whom, what keeps us motivated is the benefit that by doing the artwork we create for ourselves. We can decide to make a painting for ourselves. In this particular case, the two benefits coincide, but Normally, it's not like this. Finally, that we have our target that keeps us motivated. We know exactly what kind of picture we would like to paint one day. We have to find out what we need to paint it. Well, we know that an artwork isn't just an artwork, but is also a skill work and a creativity work. So we have to use the art, but also our skills and our creativity to make it. We have seen that the art is something that we can learn. Most of all now with internet it's easy to find what we need. We just need to study it. In our course, Representative Oil Painting Fundamentals, we teach all the things that an artist needs, all the techniques to make a fine representative painting. The skills are something that we can train. Practice makes us perfect. Once we have found out the techniques that we need to work on our target and we have learned them, we have to train ourselves in order to improve our skills on those techniques. So we need to find some preliminary paintings on which we can use the techniques that we need. In our course, we have set a series of abstract exercises so that on the beginning we can start doing this focusing only on the training without caring about the outcome. What about the creativity? Well, our creativity is defined by our ideas and the choices that we make. It's not something that we can train. It's part of who we are, our culture, our experience, and how we use them. Every person is creative in his own way. Most of the time when people seem to be not creative, it's not because they aren't, it's just because they don't know how to express it. So although we can't teach how to increase it, we can try with a series of steps to drive people in using their creativity. That's exactly what we do in our video, The Painting Definition. We drive through all the decisions that every painter has to make to define preliminarily what he wants to paint. At this point, finally, we have a clear idea on what is the target, the assessment parameter. We know exactly what picture we want to paint. We also know, at least theoretically, all the steps that we have to do if we want to actually arrive to paint it. Well, we can finally start working. For example, if you decide to follow our course, you first want to see the videos on the equipment so that you know exactly what you have to buy. Then you want to start seeing the videos on the fundamentals to learn our techniques. And after that, you want to start training using our abstract exercises. And finally, you can start working on some real representative painting. But how can we be sure that we are moving in our target direction? Well, we have to find a way to self-evaluate our works. So it's time now we start seeing exactly this. How can we evaluate by ourselves if we are moving in our target direction or not? Where we stand and eventually what we have to do to bring back the compass in its direction. Being able to be objective in a self-evaluation of our work isn't easy. Napolitans, the same people who invent the pizza, have a very funny way to explain why. They say, ogni scarafone è bella mamma sua, which literally translated means every cockroach is beautiful to his own mother. In few words, we have the tendency to evaluate optimistically our own work, and this is not going to help us reaching our target. Every artwork implicit evaluation parameter is the benefit that artwork itself creates. In the case of a painting, the benefit could be, for example, the answer to one of the following questions. Do I like it? What kind of emotion do I feel when I watch it? Does it transmit me anything? Will it look good in my living room? Is the artist who painted famous? Would it be a good investment? And so on. Normally, the benefit that a painting creates is very personal. So in this type of evaluation, we just fall very badly into the cockroach effect. It's very difficult to be objective in this type of evaluation. Most of all on the beginning of our painting career, where everything is new and everything we paint seems to be perfect. What can we evaluate objectively? Well, we can try to evaluate more objectively if we receive the benefit that as artists we are supposed to get by making the artworks. Am I selling paintings? What's the expression of my friends when they come to my house? Does my granddaughter like the painting that I made for her? Is my fiancé impressed by my work? Because in this type of evaluation we are more objective. In our case, the evaluation parameter that we have to use is, am I moving towards to my target? To decide if we are moving in our target direction or not, we have to choose some parameter that we can evaluate more objectively. So we don't want to see the painting just from outside anymore, but now that we have the basis, we want to go inside. Since every painting that we make is an artwork, a skill work, and a creativity work, we have to find a way to evaluate in our painting the art, our skills, and for what we can, our creativity. How can we evaluate the art? Well, to evaluate the art, we have to evaluate the techniques that we use. And also in this case, first we have to find an assessment parameter. The implicit assessment parameter of every technique is the quality of the benefit that technique is supposed to create. In our case, we want to verify if using a specific technique we were able to represent the picture or one of its parts in the way that we wanted. We have seen that almost every painter starts a new painting by drawing a sketch to ensure the shapes, the proportions, and the positions. So, to start, the easiest things to do is to check if we have set on our painting the right proportions and the right positions. In few words, if we have used correctly that technique that we have chosen to make our sketch, or eventually if we made a mistake later when we painted. Because these are the two reasons why we could have problem with proportions or positions in our artworks. Then we could check the light and the point of view consistencies. Here, the problem could be related to the technique that we have used to put our scene together, or also in this case to a mistake that we made while we were painting. For example, on how to draw the sketch, or on how to follow it. We could also check if we made any mistake using our colors. Most of the time this is a problem that we get while we are painting, but it could also depend on the pigments that we choose. It's always a good idea to shoot with our phone or with a digital camera, starting from the sketch, the sequence of progress of our paintings, so that later we can see exactly when we eventually made a mistake. Like for example, if I check this line representing a light reflex here on this teapot, I can see that this part is a bit too narrow. I know by experience that this isn't a problem of sketch. I made a mistake when I was painting. But if I go to check my work in progress shooting, I can see that things weren't so bad here on this line until I made my reworks. So, reworking, I was supposed to make things better, and I fixed many things. But in this case, I didn't. I made things worse. So, now I know that I have to be more careful when I go to do my reworkings. And another thing that I can see here is that this isn't a problem of technique. It was a problem of skills. I made a mistake. The technique that I've chosen is fine. The representation more or less looked okay, but I made a mistake using it. But if I go to check this piece of silk, it's very ugly. Here, it's clear that I've chosen the wrong technique. I could go on, like for the rest of the painting, following very carefully what I saw in the model, but I decided to use a different technique and follow the same technique that I've used in this exercise. Like for example in this painting where I made a better representative analysis, the silk looks more realistic. What do we have to consider to be a problem of skills? Well, we have seen that if the sketch is correct, not being able to follow it is a problem of skills. Not being able to make a correct sketch is a problem of skills. If a transition is not smooth like it should be, like for example if we see the brush strokes inside or if we see the fading lines, not being able to paint uniform area properly, not being able to join correctly spots of different colors. These are all problems of skills. At the end, when there is a problem in our painting, it is always a problem of skills. But it could be also a problem of the technique that we have chosen. Because, as we have seen, every technique is supposed to explain to an artist who has matured the right level of experience how to create a benefit. So, if we can't use a technique because of our skills, we have chosen the wrong technique. In this case, one of the things that we can check is if by using a different technique we are actually capable to paint what we want. And if we don't know any techniques that allow us to do it, well, it seems that it's too early for us trying to create that specific benefit. We need more experience. So, skills and techniques are strictly related. As we said, if it's a problem of technique, we can try to see if inside the famous state-of-the-art book we can find a technique that allows us, with our level of skills, to create the good that we want. Eventually, if we can't find it, we can try to see if we can invent it, adding a new page to the state-of-the-art book. But if we can't find it and neither invented, well, the only thing that we can do is to choose one technique and start training to improve our skills. Normally, the skills of one person are the combination of two parameters, his talent and his experience. If I see a technique once and immediately I know how to use it without any practicing, well, I'm a very talented person. It comes natural to me using it. On the other side, if I had to train myself very hard to be able to use that technique, well, definitely I'm not talented. And this is the beauty of the art. The most important accomplishment for any form of art and for the humanity itself is not when talented people do something good, but it's when not talented people do something great. What about the creativity? Well, we have seen that we can't train our creativity. It's part of who we are. We can only try to drive someone in using it in a better way. So if we are creative or we can find a way to use our creativity, it's good to use it to improve our artworks. And if we are not, well, unless there are patents or we try to get credit for it, there is nothing wrong in using someone else's idea to make our artworks. As artists, our main goal is to create goods. Then, if by doing it we can also help the progress of the art, it's fine, but we must create goods. Once one guy invented the pizza. Now the pizza is one of the most used recipes of the world. Many chefs every day cook the pizza, and every day they create the same benefit. But one thing is sure, it's the artist's creativity that generates the progress of the art itself. So it's very important that every artist use his ingenious to try to improve the good. How can we decide if an idea is good or not? Well, if the idea is new, is original, but most of all creates a new benefit or improve an existing one, then the idea helps the progress of the art. Of course, if the benefit is only for one or few people, we can't really say that there is a real progress. On the other side, if the benefit is for the whole humanity, I think there was Henry Ford who once said that there is a real progress when the benefit of a new technology, of a new technique, is for everyone. So at the end, we can't decide by ourselves if our new idea is good or not, because also in this case we fall down in the cockroach effect. What we can do is to paint our artwork and see what the others think about it. Now, let me conclude this video by saying that it's very important, if we want to keep improving, that once we get close to our target before we reach it, that we find ourselves a new target. Our introduction on how to define our target, but most of all on how to self-evaluate our work, is complete now. Thank you for watching this video and see you in the next one. If you enjoyed this video, we will really appreciate if you could click on like and subscribe to our channel. It will also help us very much if you could leave a comment. Thank you for watching this video and see you in the next one.